You did it!
I'll take it from here, okay?
All right, well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the January 25th, 2024 meeting of the Open Space and Recreation Committee. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. We do have a quorum in attendance. To start things off, we have approval of previous meeting minutes. There were a few different sets that have been circulated around. I don't know if everybody's had a chance to have a look at them. I've got them electronically here.
There were like four that are, I think, ready to be voted. The workshop ones. Although I haven't been able to confirm who was and was not present at the workshop.
No,
So can I?
you and I can go, you can go through it and maybe we have them recorded.
Well,
so we can go.
the workshops weren't recorded, really.
Oh, no, they weren't.
Yeah.
No, sorry, they were not.
So workshop one. Jerry, Ivan, Jeff, do you know if you were?
I was there. I wasn't there. No.
Okay.
Jerry was not.
Workshop two, same question.
No, I was there. Jerry was not.
Workshop two, so that was the one that we had in person. The first one was remote. Second
How was
one
that
person?
I already had you checked off.
Hey.
Good evening.
I'm like, there's not enough chairs for all
I'm
of
sorry,
us.
what did you say for two? You were not?
No.
You want to sit here and I'll sit out there? You sure?
And then, workshop
I guess I
three,
could offer the same to you. Do you want to say? Oh, that's it.
same question.
Workshop three, I was at a conference in Springfield that night, so I wasn't there.
I wasn't there. No. I think I was because I remember that you were in Springfield. But I don't remember the workshop.
It's not.
Okay.
Okay. December 11th, and the recent one, and then March 2nd, which may have been voted when I wasn't here, but I don't have any record that it was voted, so those are the four that need to be voted in, hopefully.
Perfect.
Five, actually.
Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes that we've just mentioned? Any edits or comments that anybody would like to throw in? All right, hearing none, would somebody like to make a motion? Approve the 5 sets of minutes.
Sure, I'll make a motion to the 5 sets of minutes.
Excellent. Do we have a second?
Second.
Perfect. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Very good. Thank you for putting those together.
So I'm only missing, well, I'm missing two. One is on demand, but the September 27th one. I don't know if that got recorded or not. It's not on LC, it hasn't been put up on, so.
September 27th.
Yeah. Otherwise, I got what I need.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right, so we'll move on to member updates. Are there any member updates that anyone would like to share? All right, any staff updates? All right, any public inputs from the audience? All righty. Hearing none, we'll move right on into our updates from Dotson and Blinker and Eli. I was just about to look up to the screen because I'm so used to using up there right here.
Right here. Yeah, so, sorry. Just looking at sorry, I was just looking for one thing in my printed set and I can't find it, but so basically we sent a very close to completed draft on Monday. We made a couple small changes since then. I added a column to the inventory that has zoning. We've almost completed the appendix. We had some outstanding information, which it sounds like we have now. So we can finish that, but, the appendix has some materials from the meetings, the agendas, some photos. Some of the meetings had, there was like a quick survey at the end of the third meeting, has that. We have the full survey results, so there's tables of the answers from all the surveys, almost all of the open response questions. We took some out. And some of the questions have graphs as well. Some of them didn't lend themselves as well to charts. So they just have table responses. And then the other thing that we did was completed the action map, which is what I was just looking for. Sorry, there's plenty of this, and a little bit of a rush on the way out. So it hasn't really changed much since what you may or may not have had the chance to review this week. I know it's sent later than we wanted to send it, so understandable if no one's had the chance to review it. But it's altogether now, I think the only thing we're realizing we need to add is a title page after the cover that says like Town of Littleton Open Space Plan prepared for, shared by Dotson and Flinker, that kind of thing. Nothing particularly interesting. And then public comments needs to be added into the plan, but of course we can't add those until we have public comments to add in. So really what we're looking for is just to, I understand you all haven't probably had the chance to review the last draft yet, but just to think about a process going forward to get the plan approved. So whether that's, I guess, approved by the committee so we can send it to Department of Conservation Services and to the various boards that need to review it. We can send it to the Department of Conservation Services before the boards review it. They can review it simultaneously. So if that's something that you're interested in, we can pursue that. Yeah, so that's the update is, we have Amy has a couple changes, but we are pretty much ready for a final thumbs up to send out the report.
So, Eli, if I
Yeah,
may,
sure.
on page 35,
Mhm.
it looks, when I was looking at this last night, there's on the second column, this is in F, scenic resources and unique environments. There's on that second column of the page, it looks like there was some copy and paste issues and there's some redundant words and whatnot. So that just needs to be cleaned up in the language.
Okay, sorry, you
page
said page
35.
35 in the
Yeah.
second column.
It's the second column, and there's a few items where it's like a word starts and then it was obvious that something else happened. For example, in the second sentence, the 2016 OSRP highlighted a stone chamber.
Yeah.
And it goes on, the next sentence is it goes on through that down even to the ceremony. There's a period, a comma period before ceremonial stonework located. So that whole section just needs to be cleaned up and edited.
Yeah, and I should say, I think we've gone through and checked for language, but we haven't done like a final, just sit down and read and like find weird things like that. But thank you for finding that. We can clean that up.
There was one thing that I was looking at the other night, and it's somewhere here that I thought we could possibly adjust the language on. on page 70. It says Littleton has an agricultural history. It is still home to many farms. Farms being primaries for development are generally already cleared with deep soils and deep wetlands, making them attractive to developers. While many farmers want their land to remain farmland, they often resist placing restrictions on their land that could impede the future development by themselves or their families. I wasn't sure if we wanted to say resist or perhaps maybe put it a slightly different way. How do you guys feel about that? I just wasn't sure if that was coming up to, like we're trying to force them, yeah.
What would you change it to, what do you think?
That's what I was trying to,
Yeah.
couldn't quite.
Where's this? This is page 70.
This is page 70, it's the,
First column.
Yeah, first column, second paragraph down.
Okay.
I just don't want us to sound like we're forcing anything on anybody, You guys seen that paragraph?
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
I guess as a representative of the AgCom, I don't see a problem with it. It's
Do you
true.
think it works, Jerry?
Yeah, it's true. I mean, farmers don't want it because they lose control of the property once they get an ag restriction on it. So that's fact. And maybe something else could be done other than the ag restriction to preserve it, but that is an issue in town right now.
Could we perhaps say, while many farmers want their land to remain farmland, many are hesitant to place restrictions?
Yeah, one of the
It
other.
sounds like, I think it sounds better than like.
Oh, he's like-
Yeah.
Tell it the way it
If
is.
we gotta make a change, you can change it to hesitant.
All
That's
right.
good, reluctant.
I don't.
Yeah.
Reluctant, yeah.
It just, I think it, when we say they're resistant, they're like defying the town, and I think it just comes across maybe a little too strong.
Yeah, okay, I like that. Reluctant would be.
Reluctant to change to your end.
Reluctantly change it.
If resistant is an issue, then. But it is a true statement, and I think it should be in.
Were there any other sections of the report that anybody had catch their eye that maybe they thought could use?
So on page 35, we talk about the Gray Farm barn and shed. And it says, many historic sites within Littleton are under some form of protection. These include the Gray Farm barn and shed. Actually, it's on private land and there is no protection. It is something we want to work on, and we had talked about it at a meeting, and I'm not sure it worked its way into any of our goals for the future. We had talked about, that land is adjacent to the cemetery and maybe putting a temporary parking area in on Hartwell Avenue, and then making in the future some parking area down there by those barns, and maybe using them for town functions like Groton does. But the way it reads right now, it says these are under some form of protection. And it is true, they say these historic structures were restored by the development of the houses on Great Farm. The Rodney Farmers crew did restore them, but they are on private property, and they could be taken down at any time, I think. I don't know, Amy, you remember that way back in the old days?
Yeah, before my time.
Was it?
How's that?
Hmm.
But was that sort of a restriction to the planning board? working
So
on,
it
or-
was before my time on the planning board. We have discussed it recently. There is some nuance to that. But I couldn't tell you what it is.
Well, it makes us, we say there's under some form of protection, and if it's a nuance,
Some form of protection, I think, is right. I don't know what that form is. It was, that whole project was done as part of a open space cluster,
yeah.
and
Okay, well, I could look into it,
yeah.
because if nobody knows what the
Well,
form of protection is.
Maren,
Okay, I will check.
I mean, it's come up recently, and maybe it was at this meeting.
Yeah.
but, it was. And I think Martin was in this too.
Yeah, was anyone, so that's definitely something we took from the previous open space plan.
Okay,
So, that's not to say it's right.
That was-
well, let me take the action,
I didn't
and I
say
will,
that.
Yeah.
instead of saying, some form of protection, I'll put what the form of protection was underneath Great Farm Barn and Shed. Well, whatever the agreement was, we'll write it in there, or is this not the appropriate place to do it?
I think if we have the information for it, we can
Because if you look at the next one, on the line part, it says preserved by a conservation preservation easement, so,
Yeah,
you know, if we're gonna do that. Word it the same way, we would want to put what the conservation measure was that protects it,
right. Um,
and I'm willing to chase that down.
I take it it's not listed on the register.
Which
Yeah.
register?
Because some of the other bullets, they say it's, you know, it's listed on the National Historic Register, which is
right,
basically its form of protection, but like the Reedwood House and
Well, it seems like nobody knows, so like I said, I can check that and find out what it is. And do it there.
that would be great, yeah.
Well, also under that same, topic, under scenic resource, I had the previous draft, so the numbers aren't the same. It says F scenic resources, unique environments, and one of the, priority heritage landscapes for preservation consideration, at least two of those are gone. Harley Sawmill does not exist anymore, and the Long Store, and I think there was some verbiage about how we preserved the pieces or the structure of the Long Store.
it's on the next
That's
page.
in there, yeah.
Yeah, but, which I've also recently heard someone talking about, like, you know, but there's no plan for anything to do with those pieces. It's in the storage unit somewhere. But anyway, but the Parley Sawmill is now owned by the, it stopped operating. It is owned by the, Parley, yeah, the LEOD. However, there
Still there?
is, Andrew, you were saying there is a historic marker that's there, or?
So there is one currently, right along the roadside. It's knocked over and in terrible shape, but it partly.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the priority markers that the historical
Okay.
commission's looking to tackle next. But yeah, we should get that replaced, but as a site, I mean, who knows what it's gonna look like in the future, you know, but.
Well, it's not gonna be a sawmill,
Yeah,
and the buildings aren't gonna be. Anyway,
but, the long store, I'm kind of mixed about that because it is in a storage unit and, previously, maybe 6 or 7 years ago, the cost to put it back together without any plumbing or anything was like over $1 million. So, yeah,
oh, come on.
so, yeah, it was crazy. So, I mean, there is no plan going forward to do anything with it, but to let it fall off the radar completely, but, yeah.
Oh, I'm not saying it should, I'm not saying it should be off the radar, but that idea, oh, maybe it's okay, the idea of preserving it in some form.
But technically,
Or
it's
like
not
something
really
to assign a piece of it for Parley.
yeah, I mean, that,
campus.
because technically it's not a historic landscape right now, it's,
Right, it's an artifact.
yeah, so maybe we should strike it.
Yeah.
And just keep it. on the
Well,
fence.
and I don't know how this comes up, if it's pertinent to open space, but I was going to mention 12 Robinson, which is a project that's, the town bought an 18th century house, put a historic preservation restriction on it, then sold it to be restored and repurposed as housing. And I think that's a sort of process that is worth mentioning because it's, that would have been gone. And, anyway, but in the scenic resources and unique environments, I would consider putting 12 Robinson Road. I mean, because that's something that's actually being accomplished.
I think it's a great idea. Yeah, if the town hadn't bought it and put a historic.
Well, it was zoned for business. It could have been
Yeah,
anything. Could have been, storage unit or something.
I have one thing on page 40. Under waste. The second paragraph, the last sentence, past sampling results have been favorable and have not identified any negative impacts on local groundwater supply. Do you want to delete that sentence?
Okay.
I have it on page 39.
This copy's all messed
Oh,
up.
all right, it's on 39.
My apologies.
All right. Second
Remember I
paragraph,
said? it was gonna be
Yeah,
written out like that.
second paragraph.
Oh, I see.
Under waste. Yeah, the last sentence.
That's just not fair.
It's not true. No. Great.
Clean Lakes Committee, on page 39, they talk about Mill Pond. At the end, they say that the Mill Pond Subcommittee of the Little Clean Lakes is analyzing possible courses of action based on work by the Army Corps of Engineers. Is that actually happening?
No, the Army Corps of Engineers are no longer a partner with us.
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry, can you, tell me what page that was again?
Yeah,
Like
That's on 39,
39.
the left hand side,
Oh, I see now, yeah.
second full paragraph.
Right, I think what I was trying to convey is that the Army Corps of Engineers did complete some work. Right, and the
No.
committees,
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
I mean,
they did a
initial,
report.
right, but no.
We haven't
physical
received the
work.
report yet. But they did do some studies.
right. But
Maybe you just
I
like
bet.
add analyze.
We haven't received,
Yeah.
we haven't received the report, if there is actually a report.
The way it's written, it sort of gives people hope that
It's
it's
still
in
not-
process.
yeah, I have to say that,
Just put it past tense.
information was pretty,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so was there a tentative report?
Yeah, I guess there is. But
So,
it's, so the Army Corps and Engineers, they did their study and they did a report, and we haven't received any of this information yet. But the Army Corps did, we did cut off our partnership, so they're no longer,
so it seems like I
Doing
should
work.
change it to saying that the Middle Pond Subcommittee of the Little Clean Lakes Committee has not received a report.
yeah,
Or you just
Do you expect to?
keep the sentence as is and cut it off at
we don't know if there's actually or not.
action. The Mill Pond Subcommittee is analyzing possible courses of action. Just stop
Just
there.
take off that sentence.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I was researching that and they started a report and they didn't finish the report. So what happened here? So thank you for finding that.
Was there anything else that stood out to anybody, that needed adjustments?
I have some minor stuff again. The only other thing is, oh, on page 76 of the, was that action plan 1E3? I wasn't sure the part of that says navigate potential conflict with neighboring landowners and public entities. Really, yeah.
Oh. And it's on page. Oh, right there, it's all jumbled on mine.
Yeah, it might be easier. Good paper.
Thank you. Oh, yeah, that is a little,
I wasn't quite sure what that really meant.
Yeah,
I don't think we've ever really done that. We've ever run into a problem where we had to do
I
that.
know.
should we just strike that?
I was gonna suggest striking it, but
Yeah, 'cause I don't think we've ever teamed up with, any nonprofits to dissolve any disputes between landowners in the past and. Yeah.
yeah.
How do you guys feel about that?
I mean, do it as a matter of course with conservation restrictions, that kind of.
Right, it is, it's not like that's an actionable item for a
Right.
grant, so taking it out, it's not like you really lose anything.
And the one above that, I would definitely add planning board. Establish partnerships with landowners and developers to preserve land and pursue recreation opportunities through the site planning and development process.
Oh, instead of conservation or in addition to.
I would say conservation and planning,
Okay.
or even better, planning and conservation.
Yeah, hey, that works.
So that's my conservation's up front.
We just write that, you mean?
Yeah, make it very clear.
Can you just make that a footnote? That's right.
I was just noticing on here, I think it's on page 63. The cemeteries are, in the list of things for parks and rec land.
Oh,
Right.
yeah,
And that's
that's,
something
yeah.
that's not, so.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I struggle with categorizing the cemeteries.
so, a standalone, yeah.
You guys like it?
I don't think anybody there is gonna.
Oh, I know, no.
What about, changing the header to Parks, Recreation and Cemetery?
I think just
No,
removing it
no.
completely from that category.
Yeah,
And have it be its own standalone.
Okay,
Yeah,
cause it's not like under the umbrella.
Yeah, when you add up the acreage, it
It's
doesn't
its own,
mess things up.
yeah.
okay.
And should I have a table number attached to it, that whole thing?
The inventory?
It really table C dash one or, I didn't know that you the ahead of.
The table to rule all tables. Yeah. Sure, it has a, yeah, that's interesting. Maybe it should have a table number. This is a table. But it's also sort of, something. I did add a key to this, to this, table, by the way, after. The most recent.
Over all the,
Yeah, like
Mediation.
what no cell access menus and.
Oh, yeah.
The zoning stuff. Okay, could be tricky to add a table with the formatting, but to add a heading with the table number. But. Yeah, I'll see what we can do. I'm not sure. That might be tricky. Formatting. But I'll consult with my formatting colleague.
this is section 4. Just notice that the footers of section 5. as well.
The footers?
Yeah, page 41. It's chapter 51, or chapter 5, whatever you call it, but the footer says section 4.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. There's lots of stuff.
Will the table of contents just have these sections, or will it have the subsections like A, B, C?
We were not gonna,
Split it up that much.
we weren't planning on it, but we might be able to, if you would like that.
I was just wondering, because for me, the inventory is kind of a big thing to go looking for,
Right,
and right now you couldn't. It's not gonna jump at you where you have to go find it.
okay.
It's not even- unless it's listed as a table, list of tables.
Yep.
So on page 27 on my version here, under it's table 4-1, within section 4, it does list the Sanderson Esker on Oak Hill Road as being under private ownership.
Good one. Page 26.
Yes, yep, it's page 27 on mine for some
Yep,
reason.
yep.
Okay, is that public ownership?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
believe it's under
Town owns it now.
select board, not Comm though.
It is under Concom, because otherwise I would have flagged it, as it should be.
Ah, it should be, it might be, because I know the fields, I think went to Concom, but I don't know about, I mean, with the select board, but.
Right, yeah. Oh, I will double check. But it would just be town of Littleton anyway, so,
Yeah,
in this.
I'm not sure. Everything is down.
okay.
Yeah, and just to say, we, we need to, clearly we need to, read through again for small typos and, make these changes, so, this is not, you can send an email and point things out as well, but, yeah, I think we do want to try to keep it to these types of changes, but,
That big table does list
Please.
Sanderson Esker's Concom.
It does it up with this.
but yeah, we're still reachable for edits if you find anything later.
Excellent. Perfect. Were there any other edits or comments, what we have?
So the only one we haven't resolved is the thing about the barn on Hartwell Avenue. Everything else we have fixed right here. So, I think the question at hand is, are we gonna forward this with our approval to the town?
Well,
Is that what we're trying to achieve here, Ella?
we're talking about Gray Farm?
Yeah, the Gray Farm, to find out what sort of protection the barn is under right now. We
Right.
state that it's under protection, but we can't define what that is.
Yeah, so I think, we can take the time to figure that out. And, while we make these edits,
Okay.
I don't think we necessarily need to watch it. I shouldn't speak on the workings of your committee, but, I wonder if someone could be designated to kind of approve the plan and say, you've made all the changes we talked about and looks good, or, I think probably you are interested in doing that without meeting all together again. So,
I know Ivan is.
yeah.
Oh, I just thought there was a deadline with the state. I didn't wanna, yeah.
Yeah, well, this is our first open space plan, so I'm not sure exactly how long the state takes to get back to us. There's no. The only deadline is, I think the next grant cycle is in June, so if they take several months, we don't wanna drag our feet for too long.
And I don't think it has to be accepted. I think it has to be
It just has to be submitted, yep.
Yeah,
Perfect. That's good.
okay, so definitely well before June, we'll submit this.
Perfect. Right now, I mean, given what we have, I hope we've got a pretty solid plan here, aside from a few minor things here and
Yeah.
there. So we could potentially submit this, have at least the placeholder in, and I don't see any substantial changes really coming from
Mhm.
the committee. So yeah,
Great.
the sooner we could get it in and have us eligible.
Great,
So would it go to the state and the boards and committees at the same time?
I would think so.
Rather than make it, or?
I mean, that's up to you guys if you want to do that.
Does that sound? Because then if we do have feedback from the boards and committees saying, hey, you got my section completely wrong, we could always let the state know that we just had a change in one particular area. But I think we've done a pretty good job at covering all the bases here. So I can't
Would they
proceed.
be okay with that? Like if that happens and there's, that's the one piece of like, does it make sense to go to the boards first and then fix all of those things before we send it to the
Yeah, but if we
state?
do that, we have to have a date certain.
Right,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
you know?
So the letters of review that we need are the town manager, the planning board, and the regional planning agency. I'm guessing the planning board is or the regional planning agency are the slower responses there because you need to go to a meeting, submit it, then they need to have time to review it. Although I guess you could probably submit it outside of a meeting. And
Oh, yeah,
staff could just
No,
submit
we
it.
can post it. Yeah,
Um,
we have a meeting Thursday that might be too soon to, dump this on, but then it's, we meet.
Do you give a fair warning?
Pardon?
You can give a fair warning. It's
Yeah.
No, I'll definitely bring it up and we'll put it as part of our discussion. And, there is at least one member who will probably want to finally go through everything, but for the most part, I think the committee's work will be just implicitly accepted. So,
And is that where the last round of public comments comes in? To the planning board or to the town manager select board or?
What's the regional?
That's MAPC.
So it has to go to MAPC?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
And just to say, they don't need to approve it, they just need to submit a letter that they reviewed it.
And we did work.
Not
with
that they
it
wouldn't-
last.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of the stuff, the stuff they wrote and a lot of the stuff they wrote was the stuff we've had to fix. So I hope they approve it.
But we need that letter from them before we can submit to the state?
No,
Oh,
we need it
okay, fine.
for it to be approved by the state, but we can submit simultaneously.
to have like a completed document, that's one of the requirements for the open space and recreation plan. Is
Okay.
that letter saying, we've received it, we reviewed it.
That's fine, and it's not gonna hold up Amy's, grant requests as long as we've submitted, so
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Perfect.
Okay.
That sounds good. So have the preliminary placeholder in place
Mhm.
and
But am I right? There's one last round of public comment?
I feel like they're.
I thought you said you had a placeholder that you needed to
Oh,
insert.
that is the letters of support from the agencies. I was just talking
Oh,
about the
okay.
town administrator
Oh, okay.
board.
Okay.
But those three are the only ones that are required, so,
Yeah.
Right.
like the Parks and Rec Commission, they can review it and send a letter in, and that'll be like an addition to, but it's
Mhm.
not required.
I
Right.
think we'd want to get input from all these other
Right.
boards and
Mhm.
departments, anyway, just to
Right.
make sure that we have it right for them, so.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I think this is a great path forward and we'll be meeting our deadlines partially.
Yeah, partially is doing a lot of work there, but yeah.
Perfect.
Great.
I know you wanted to ask, but so how do you want to bless this before it goes to the town manager, planning board, and MAPC and the state?
So did everyone want to kind of look it over one last time with a fine tooth comb before?
After this last round of edits? From tonight?
Yeah. Are you guys comfortable with what we've done tonight and forwarding this on?
So it's often the case that when you have these documents you're voting on, you vote on them with conditions. And we might want to say, yes, this is great with, and then just enumerate the comments that have come up. And so we can, go forward. There's a huge amount of info here. It was actually really interesting, I thought. But anyway, so I think, I think we could vote on it and with, the conditions that we've talked about, which are pretty minor.
Perfect.
I don't remember what those conditions were, but, there was the Great Farm, there was the.
Yes, I kind of kept, but there's
Engineer,
other
Army
ones,
Corps of
there's sort of
Engineers.
editorial
And if there.
ones and stuff.
Yeah, and I started
Globally,
in this
called
previous
editorial.
version, I didn't realize when I started going through it that it was not formatted yet. And I'm going, this is weird. There's a heading down here. It should be, then I just said, okay, we're doing that. But
Which date do you have it from?
I was a couple weeks ago, you sent it out.
Oh, that, yes,
that's
yeah, that was
not-
before it's formatted this way.
Yeah, so, and I didn't feel like printing out.
Yeah.
So, understandable.
Perfect. Well, given what's been said, do we want to make a motion perhaps tonight to approve what we have preliminarily? Is that a word? And then, and pass this on to the town administrator's office?
I wouldn't put it preliminarily, I would just say approve it with conditions. As
Or with edits as discussed.
edits as discussed, yeah.
Yeah, it's, yeah,
Is that global enough?
the 90% version, 95%.
99.
Yeah.
The final draft.
Excellent. Would somebody like to maybe make a motion to that effect?
I make a motion that we approve the open space and recreation plan with the edits discussed this evening to be incorporated in the next version. And that this version be submitted to appropriate departments, circulated throughout the town departments for final comment.
Excellent. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Perfect. Any opposed? All right, very good. It's unanimous.
Now, I have a question. So when I go, talk about this with my board, if they have comments or edits, how do we handle that? I just convey them to you, or what do we do?
That's fine to convey them to me. I think I certainly think edits fall within the bounds of what you all just discussed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think I trust that. I think that's fine. And
So, but I'd say to them, we voted to submit this, for boards, but are we submitting it to the state also, or are we waiting for the town board?
So I think we're doing a simultaneous
Okay.
submittal, and if anything big pops up or any concerns that we think should be incorporated from the boards and committees, we can certainly add them in and give the state a final version.
Sorry. So whenever the public comment period started, and does that get incorporated in the final report? In the past, I recall it got circulated for the public or was available, and comments were written up and they were incorporated in the report as in a section along with endorsement letters.
Yeah, and I believe that a lot of the public comments that was incorporated was from like the workshops and other gatherings. I'm not sure.
And that's, the raw material. Yeah, it's a matter of having public comments on the final report, the final draft.
Yeah, and we could certainly put it out to public comments. I'm not sure how we would facilitate the town at large, maybe putting it on the website.
Well, does this committee have a presence on the town?
Yeah.
So just post it there.
Yeah, we
Let's
can
say-
upload it, yeah.
Yeah, and say,
And it'll be on your agenda.
pardon,
It'll be on your agenda.
what do you mean by that?
Planning board agenda.
Okay.
That's,
Why would it be ours? Oh,
But you're one of the
Because
three
you're-
that need the letter.
yeah, but Don's talking about general public comments.
right, yeah, but that might be the other way. You might start getting the public
Yeah, exactly.
to
Yeah.
comment.
Right, because
So that's the only agenda
Oh,
the
the
public
agenda.
might see that has this listed.
But I'm more than happy to upload it. We'll just have to have a PDF format of it, so,
Sure.
yeah, we're not throwing a Word document.
Yeah.
Accept the comments and put them in as the.
I don't see why we'd have to agenda it unless we had a public hearing about it.
Well, if you're gonna discuss it as a board.
Yeah, it's gonna.
Well,
Not that you're gonna have a whole forum or anything.
Right.
It'll be a discussion topic, right? And
Yeah, it'll just
Yeah,
be
but that's-
discussion.
that's just board, it's not a.
I mean, it's member update. It should be your update to the board.
Yeah.
But the public can just, it should go through the website and I don't know then who gathers that. I guess would ultimately,
Well, I think it would be.
I mean, we can't accept the comments without vetting them. I
Right.
mean,
The comments have to come back to this board
yeah.
or this committee.
This
rather.
committee.
This committee, yeah. comments have to come back.
And then we would have to decide whether, you know, they're valid. I mean, Don,
Right.
do you have suggestions about this?
Well, I've been following things, but I don't get the most recent updates to
Mhm.
review. But I do have long history of knowledge. And, you know, I've talked to Jerry about some things like the Gray Farm.
Do you know what the status of the protection of the barn is?
No,
Okay.
we
Oh,
have,
we were, yeah, so,
but that's all part of the open space
yeah,
development
right.
plan and the fact there are no teeth in it, and there's no way to enforce it and things just get forgotten.
Yeah.
I think this is one of those.
Yeah.
And so one of the comments would be, you need to, and I've sent comments in this, that it's important to review open space, development subdivision of land. Because there's some nuisance in it.
Mhm.
And even the most recent version I looked at said it's, you know, the pluses and minuses, there are challenges. So, yeah, that'd probably be a comment. And I can cite a lot of cases where things didn't go right. I think Play Farm probably is one of those. So anyway, I mean, the simple comments, but focusing on where the problems in a constructive fashion, you know.
So the question is, where do those comments come? How do we handle them? And, you know,
So I'm thinking, maybe we could put them on the town website, maybe even do an email blast through, is it? I always want to say e-alerts, it's,
I can check with Nancy on it. Yeah, there is something built into Civic Plus to be able to do that. Yeah.
that'd be great. And
Okay.
then what we can do is, pull them together. And while, our plan is submitted to the state, to the boards, we can gather those and at our, I dare say, the next meeting,
No, no,
perhaps,
yeah.
we could,
It'll be
review
all-
those. Yeah.
We just need dates certain.
We need dates.
With all this, because this could just keep running.
And we
That's
need
a
to
good
know,
point. That's a
who
good
to send the comments to.
Yeah, we need dates certain to get the board's feedback, the boards and committees feedback and any public feedback and. You know, we should even sit, I mean, you're gonna have the changes when, ready, next week?
I think next week is.
Okay, so that is beginning of February. It'd be nice to say, hey, by February 28th, we're done with
Yeah.
getting feedback.
Do you want to set that date?
Yeah, I'd like to set that.
Well, I
that
think
would be
that's too
important.
early.
That's too early.
Okay,
Yeah,
well, whatever. it is.
we won't even have had a meeting, so I'm just looking, I think our next meeting is March 5th.
You're not meeting in February?
We are, but that's next week. I mean,
Yeah.
January. Oh, you're right.
Yeah,
February.
yeah.
Skipping over home.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're definitely meeting.
But we could do, yeah, first week of, yeah, we could do first week.
I guess, I mean, how often does the
Or in
historic
March.
commission meet if they wanna,
So
or they do it separately too?
they can meet separately, but I think yes, the third Wednesday of the month, second Wednesday of the month, I feel like it moves around a lot.
Michelle?
Now, are we is this trying to collect the comments from the boards, or are we trying to collect comments from the public?
It's both.
Both,
Here's a final date.
I mean, I feel like typically that's 60 days.
Yeah, that's gonna push us to the end of March and then we have to get the stuff to the state.
No, it's going to the state anyway,
Yeah, well,
right?
yeah,
Yeah, so we'll already be on file for when we
Okay.
submit it. And yeah, so we could technically take our time with the public comments.
Well, I'm with, I don't think we want to take a lot of time, but I think you do have to go until the middle.
okay, yeah. Yeah, like March 15th or something, that's, yeah.
Ides of March.
I did March.
Oh.
St. Patty's Day, March 17th.
And who do the comments go to?
That's, yeah.
And
I'll happily field the comments.
there you go.
Will will you disseminate them?
So I think,
That means we're gonna put your email.
oh.
That's the,
No.
I mean, yeah, you could
you don't want
use
that, it's gotta.
mine, I guess, if you want to do that.
Can Nancy
Sure.
set up a town
We
email?
can find out if she can do that, yeah.
It'd be
If
a lot
not,
simpler if you could just put either a comment page
yeah,
on the same spot or something
Yeah.
that goes directly to one place and just they all go to that spot.
And then,
That might take 2 months to get done. And then we'll be.
it will not, it will not.
Yeah, if you
So
give
can you
us
check
a
with
email,
Nancy on that,
that would be-
Alicia?
Huh?
Can you check with Nancy on?
I 100% already written this
Just
down.
set up
yeah.
a info at, or.
If she's not okay with that, are
Open
you
space
guys
info.
okay with doing like myself or Amy?
Yeah,
That
yeah,
works.
absolutely. Yeah.
I will volunteer myself, I will not volunteer you. Yeah, then that way I can collect those into a folder and then be able to like send them out
So
or.
some sort of
get them to you.
repository or something?
Yeah,
That'd be great.
So just trying to figure out where it's gonna be posted. I mean, the planning board has a very good project page and very good structure. And that would be sort of a nice place. The Gog Hill Orchard stuff has a webpage, but they say to contact them through the town clerk. I think that's sort of crazy. Yeah, likely to get lost there.
So maybe,
Well, I
There is-
could
there
ask
is an open
Maren.
Space and recreation plan page.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
can do that.
That's where it should be.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, and single email address or something to send written comments?
Well, what does
That's
the
what we're
page say? I mean, do you
figuring
go to the littletonmass.org and
Yeah.
then, okay,
yeah,
Boards and committees and
okay.
That's what we're gonna ask Nancy to
That's-
set up
Yep. So if for some reason Nancy cannot do that, then I will just, like I said, I'll throw mine on there.
Yeah,
I'll have a folder set for that and I'll just collect them all in that folder and then I can distribute them out.
that'd be great.
perfect.
Perfect. And do we want to do that email blast, just telling people, hey,
I'm
here's this
gonna,
document,
talk to her about
take
that.
a look, please, and. Excellent.
And someplace you'll have the timeline as to when the comment period, the line of it.
I think you
So
guys
it's clear
need
to-
to vote on that.
March 15th is when.
March 15th.
Yeah.
I propose March 15th.
Like never.
I like that.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Wait, that's, oh,
Hey, just one other quick, little note here on, I don't know if it's page 30. Talks about drinking water wells. Littleton currently operates 4 drinking water wells. We actually have a lot more than that. We have 5 just at Whitcomb alone, so, I would just change that to Littleton currently operates multiple drinking water wells and don't put in specifics as,
Or when
Just
you
have
say
the
like
locations.
well sites, maybe.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yeah, we, multiple well sites,
including,
including that, but without a quantity, that's all. I don't know how it's, I don't know.
Yeah.
And we're gonna put
Page 30?
Spec pond, we're gonna
Wow.
put another one,
Yeah.
spec pond,
Okay,
so,
top of the second column,
Um,
begins with Littleton current, the paragraph begins with Littleton.
oh, okay.
the reason why we have so many is because we have to shut them down to clean them.
yeah. No, I know. I'm just like, I
Yeah.
just don't know how we only got 4 in the last one.
I think they were talking about sites, not.
Yeah.
I think
Oh,
that-
really?
yeah, they got
Okay.
confused. They're
Interesting.
interchanging,
Yeah, I mean, I had no idea there were multiple sites.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
It was a
Is,
well.
Yeah, you guys were just talking.
would
about
that be accurate if it was well sites?
multiple well sites,
Or
Or
site.
4, is it 4?
Is 4, are there 4 well sites?
1, 2, 3.
And you're developing.
And we're developing a
Taylor
Taylor,
Street.
right, and that's on there, developing a Taylor and Cobb.
Okay, so are there not 2 adjacent to Whitcomb Avenue?
No,
West of Mill Pond.
there's 5 wells at Whitcomb, but we don't need to identify the quantity at
Yeah,
the specific, just the location.
So it's 3 sites, okay.
It's, yeah, Beaverbrook, Spec Pond, and Whitcomb. With 2 additional looking to develop Taylor Street and Cobb.
Yeah, and, I think if people see anything else, again, happy to make more edits by next Tuesday would be preferable to be able to finish the plan.
So if we can get all of the remaining committee edits in by Tuesday, do we want to have these to the boards and committees and state by a certain day as well?
was that March 15th?
That's March 15th. So after he's done with the edits, then it gets distributed and put on the website.
Put it on the website.
Yeah.
So what date do you think you would have it on the website then?
After
Well,
Tuesday.
ready for the website? Because I'm not,
You're gonna have a PDF on Tuesday, right? You'll have a updated version on Tuesday.
Well,
next week?
Yeah,
No, by the end of the week.
okay, well, that's fine. Just tell, just
Yeah.
say, so
Yeah.
people would ask.
Yeah,
You're saying that we need to get the comments to you by.
yes.
by Tuesday, okay.
Yeah, then I can have it done by the end of the week.
Sleep is overrated.
Yeah.
Is that February 2?
Says the man drinking coffee at what
Yeah,
time?
no, Red Bull and Pepsi.
Great combo. Perfect. So if we can have that PDF ready by the end of next week, get that right out to, well, on the website, the alert out and, start getting public comment. So simultaneously, we'll give it to the state, give it to the boards and committees, and then by March 15th, we'll gather all the public comments and board comments and wrap it up.
And who gives it to MAPC, the state? Is that on us, on you guys? How's that?
That's a good question. I think it probably should be the town that sends it, since
So
it's
that would be.
your report that
administrators.
you're submitting. But I,
Well, maybe when you send it over Friday, can you just confirm who at the state it goes to?
yeah.
Well, it'll be,
Does it need like a form?
is it Melissa Cryan?
It's Melissa.
Okay, so yeah,
But they're not like sometimes you'd think you have a form in the front, that's the middle
Yeah.
form or whatever.
I can check in with,
Okay.
Jim tomorrow and see if that's something he wants to do from town administrator's office or,
Yeah.
how he wants to handle that. Okay.
Perfect. I think we have a very clear path to move forward here, just about done.
Yeah,
And presumably you all have to meet it at the end of March or something, after the 15th anyway.
To accept the final plan and then submit what we have. to the
yeah,
state.
and you can just tell us which letters you want to include and we can update the plan to include those letters.
Sounds great. Perfect.
So does that mean we need a meeting late end of March?
Yeah, so we'll have another meeting to review the letters and the comments from the public, the boards and the committees. We'll include that and send everything wrapped up to the state as a final version.
If the state also approves the draft.
If the state approves the draft. Yeah.
Or has even cracked open the draft.
Yeah.
But at least we'll have that placeholder on
Yeah,
the town file.
Timestamp.
Yeah.
Just repeat that with this.
Perfect. All right, I think we're in good shape. Was there anything else, any edits or anything else that anyone would like to bring up before we move on to our remaining agenda items? Or do you think we're good with this?
Just one thing, I'm looking through all the actions and, it lists, remember we went through this in the meeting, we listed all the organizations responsible. I haven't gotten back to AgCom or the VPAC on what these are. But I will, and I'm sure they'll agree to it, but wouldn't it be good that if we put somebody down to do something that they see it before it's finalized, that they are responsible for doing something? We don't really direct people to do things. This is just a suggestion that, say, like the planning board, for instance, is on these things.
I think these are all, there's no, like, you don't go to jail if you don't, pick these things up. This is just sort of a guide.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's, is there a jail? I don't know. I mean.
RPIC Hall of Shame.
Right.
But there was like a lot of things that were assigned to the town administrator's office, right? And I know that they hadn't taken a look at that yet, so,
They've been given it.
huh?
They've been given it
Okay, yeah, all right,
With
that's
a-
actually,
a
yeah,
bar date,
that's
so
very
with-
fair.
with a
Yeah,
heads up.
yeah, no, that's fair.
There's some cases you mention zoning, you don't mention planning board at all. They're the ones that do the zoning. Yeah, like reviewing the open space, subdivision plan. Someone else is listed as responsible for that, but it has to really be the planning board, at least additionally. 'cause they
Well,
approve the
I'll
zoning.
ask the members of the planning board to go through those action items and see what they think. There'll be different opinions about what needs to be done, but,
But if it's zoning, it does have to go through the planning board
yeah.
and town meeting.
Right.
Like, we have conservation, as somebody's responsible now. There's a conservation board, right? Committee or something.
Conservation Commission.
Do you represent them, Amy, or you just, you think he's?
Well, I'm a
All right, so, I don't know, what's your feeling on it? Do you think you need to run it by board first, or you just happy?
It has been
Yeah,
various drafts. I don't think,
Okay,
But
other than yourself.
I think that during the comment period too, that'll be a good time
Yeah.
and people will be able to, like, if the board sees their particular section and says, wait a minute, this conflicts with our, you know.
yeah,
But I think what we have here, it's pretty solid for the most part, and
Okay.
if anything pops up, we can certainly adjust if needed. But getting it out to the boards, I think, is that key first step to actually get that kind of input.
okay, right, Department of Public Works is on here too, so that will all get accomplished by when it goes out to comments, right?
And did we quickly just want to run down the list of what boards and committees we want to get this in addition to NEPC planning and the TA's office?
And are these just like general letters of support?
Yeah, so we can send out just a request to review to the board chairs perhaps and just say, you know, if you would be willing to write us a letter of support, so we appreciate it. So maybe all the committee chairs would be good as opposed to just targeting, just Concom, Park and Rec,
Right.
Yeah, the Historic Commission is
historic.
on here in a number of places, it would be,
Well, CPC is mentioned in those, and I'm just trying to think of who,
So,
there are a lot of boards and commissions in town.
Absolutely,
Yeah, almost everybody's mentioned.
yeah.
Yeah,
and the reason that a lot of you were selected for this board is because you represent a lot of them or multiple, so, I mean, Saul's a good example of Park Commission, CPC. So, yeah, I think, Jerry, you have BPAC and AgCom, right? So, yeah, that's a lot of the reason of having the specific crew, on this board. Yeah.
Perfect, so does that sound like a plan that all the committee chairs and perhaps all the department heads?
I can send all that out, that's fine. Yeah.
Perfect, thank you. All right, very good.
You might want to send it to Littleton Conservation Trust too.
Oh, yes.
And, the Berlin trustees.
Are there any other nonprofits in town that we think might, like maybe sports oriented groups?
I want to make sure Light and Water's on the list.
But we could talk to the sports organizations, I don't, that's.
Water's already reviewed it.
Yeah.
and Provide comments, they'll do a letter of support too, so, yeah, they're set.
what about like NEP or SVP?
Yeah.
NEF would be good, because they're right in town.
But do you think they're actually gonna pay
They're-
attention to
I
it?
don't think they're just a property owner, but
And they're very busy. It could
it would
work
be
to send
net
it.
SBT.
We
I don't know
could
if it's-
send it, and
they're
if
not
they
gonna-
don't respond, then they don't respond.
Yeah, I know that there's swamps,
Right,
But-
yeah,
but yeah, I mean, we can send it, and if they don't have time, that's fine.
When you were talking about sporting, you mean like the soccer,
Sport boards.
baseball?
yeah.
I definitely think the more input, the better, and the more letters of support we could get, the better we are.
I think it's fair if you're just sending it out. I mean, if they don't comment, they don't comment, but you can
We've
say, we
communicated
gave
and
you
said-
the opportunity.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Perfect. Is there anybody else that we think should be featured on the list? We've covered quite a few of the bases.
Did you want Sudbury Valley Trust on there?
I think they, yeah, because they help us out with a lot.
Okay.
Did you want to have a paper copy like over the library or something?
Yeah, I mean, some people maybe they don't have access.
Oh,
to
you
the
mean like
website.
actually copy
Right.
this and yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
100%.
And at
Yeah,
the town clerk, right, in case somebody went there. We can do that too. We can.
So where will the paper copies reside when it's approved? I know Amy has one that she uses, Lauren probably has.
that's that one.
I hear, it might have been that part of the scope, how many paper copies are delivered
Cause they'll be bound.
to us, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we just print them, but,
Yeah.
So,
and hope there'll be every page instead of every other page. of the last one.
Was that?
The
Yeah.
last OSRP we got, the
Every
printed
other
copies
page.
for every other page.
what does that mean?
We literally got every other page.
I seen it, I'm like, this makes no
Literally,
sense.
That's
Yeah.
for a mishap.
Yeah.
But it's short, that's good.
You get half the information you need.
Yeah.
But I would think that
You
the
would have this
electronic
all-
version would live on the website.
Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect. All right. I think we've covered this pretty well for tonight. You get a clear path. So again, we'll look to have all of our last minute edits into Eli by, Tuesday. We'll have the PDF ready by the end of that week, next week. We'll get it out to the board chairs, department heads, nonprofits that we've highlighted. We'll get it up on the website, public comments, and then we'll let everybody comment until March 15th, and then we'll meet again, compile it all together. Bing, bing, boom. That easy.
There was so easy.
Yeah. Just hands.
And then the implementation committee can take over.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Perfect, all right. Well, I do have, on here as well for tonight, the town's ADA self-evaluation. Did we want to jump into that, or was there anything that we wanted to bring up on that topic for tonight?
I mean, I have the answers for you, so you and I can just go through that. It's pretty simple questions.
Sure.
Answers, so,
Perfect,
no. We
excellent.
don't have to do it now. We can do it offline.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Yeah, whenever you want.
Perfect, and we touched on the endorsement letters, remaining objectives and timeline. I think we're good for tonight. Was there anything else that anyone wanted to bring up before we close things out? All right, hearing none, would somebody like to make a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Do we have a second?
I said.
All right, all those in favor? Aye. All right, thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bravo.
Did they get?
No.
No.
Yeah.
Just stop the recording.
Oh, the end is all red. You think that's an important?
It is, but we have to stop recording first.